Hello and welcome to the video, and welcome to my series where I am having a casual discussion and a first impressions review for the Ian Fleming 007 books. And today we will be talking about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And as usual, we'll have a quick look at the cover and then the inside by here. Sure you can actually put it right. So as gets brought up most of the time at this point, the general gist of the story is more or less the same as the movie version. Bond ends up getting a job to go after Blofeld when he's like hidden up in a mountain resort. Is it in the Alps, I think? He goes to is it a genealogist or whatever they're called, where you basically look into your family tree and your history, and Bond goes to them, pretends to be a man named Sir Hilary, so that he can trick Blofeld into kind of revealing that he is Blofeld under the guise that he will help him gain the Baron title that he would like. Eventually gets found out, has to leave very, very abruptly and quickly without getting killed, preferably. Ends up getting married to Teresa, and then sadly Teresa is killed by Blofeld. So like I say, that sort of skeleton is basically the same in the movie and the book version. There are some differences. The biggest difference is in Bond's escape from Blofeld's place. I'm going to flick through this and hopefully the name will appear. The resort that Bond goes to. There's Blofeld, Sable Basilisk, Sir Hilary Bray. We're getting good names here, but nothing that helps me. So to start off with, the book version starts off with Bond wanting to resign from the Secret Service because he feels he's being underutilized. I can't remember the time frame he gives, but he feels he's been underutilized for too long. He's fed up of it, and he's had enough. So to that end, he writes a letter of resignation when I believe he is in the same casino or whatever you'd call it, as he goes to in Casino Royale. Let's have a look. Do they mention Le Chef at any point around here? But I'm pretty sure he's back there because he always enjoys it here. And I'm sure he's been to this place in a few other books as well, like 2 or 3, including Casino Royale. But this time around, when he's there for his final day, when he's like, right, I've had enough of it all, I'm gonna just resign. Basically, he's doing a bit of baccarat. I think is how you call it, baccarat, or whatever the thing is called that Bond likes to play. And a girl comes in, puts a bet on that she loses, does not have the money, so she can't pay off the bet. And then Bond is mortified for her. It's like, oh, doing that sort of thing will get you blacklisted. Oh, tonight, this very Saturday night, the Casino Royale was holding its last night of the season. So yeah, so he is in the Casino Royale again. And it's like this will be a black mark on your person forever. They won't let you play in any of the other tables, and your reputation will be ruined. So Bond bails her out, same as he does in the movie. They end up sleeping together and they have a great night, and then I can't remember if it's a great night or just a great experience, and either in the morning or after the sex she kind of goes crazy with him, or the next time they meet she goes crazy with him, and then Bond is really confused. And I believe he meets up with her once or twice more. I can't remember how many times they meet, but he eventually meets up with her again. And I believe he gets kidnapped at this point. At some point, he gets kidnapped, and he ends up in front of a man named Mark Ange, who turns out to be Teresa's father. And then basically through their discussion, it turns out he's a crime boss of some kind, and he would like Bond to marry his daughter, and he'll give Bond £1 million, if Bond agrees to it. He is offended and tells him, no, I won't marry your daughter for money, but I do like your daughter. From the few exchanges we've had, I do like her, But what she needs is not love, but she needs, like, professional help. So if she gets that help, I will agree to meet her again. But I'm not saying we'll get married. Maybe, but that's not a promise I'm willing to make. And then I'll say Mark Ange at this point. No, Mark Ange. I'm going to say Mark Ange. Mark Ange then's like, right, fine, that's fair enough. I will accept these terms. And I believe in, like, sort of, as a kind of like a deal, basically, to agree in for this, Bond then gets information for where Blofeld may be, because he finds out that Blofeld is definitely still alive, because Bond was not convinced that he was dead. Sorry, I need to move a bag. Was not dead after the last mission. Which was the last mission, was it? No, it wasn't Thunderball. The Spy Who Loved Me. So I guess, well, yeah, Thunderball was the last one involving Blofeld. And then he goes to M with this new information, with his renewed vigour to be in the service. M agrees to the mission and agrees that they might have to kind of go outside the law a little bit on this one. Or maybe that happens later. But either way, he ends up going then to the genealogist, or whatever they're called. Again, maybe we'll flick to a page we might happen to see it, because that wouldn't that be nice and convenient. Either way, he goes there, he meets, I can't remember if he meets Basilisk or if he meets Sir Hilary. But either way, I'm sure he meets Sir Hilary, and Basilisk is his, oh no, yeah, so he must meet, either way, he meets one of them, and the other one is his contact when he's in Blofeld's resort. He ends up finding out his family motto, the world is not enough, which is great. I love that motto, and I love the fact that they then later use that. They bring it back for one of Pierce Brosnan's movies. I think that's really cool. He finds out his motto, but then he, like, tells the guy, I'm here basically through the Secret Service, and I want to pretend to be Sir Hilary so I can go to Blofeld's resort and not arouse any suspicion, and basically catch and then either bring him to justice or kill him. That sort of progresses as it did in the movie, more or less. And then Bond, like, I think after that he does go straight to wherever it is that they're going to, which again I cannot find what the bloody name is. But yeah, like, they set it up so Bond will then go to the resort. He meets a woman called Bunt. I think they call her Fraulein Bunt. I'm not sure if they actually say what her first name is. He turned to Fraulein Bunt. So yeah, I'm not sure. We'll just call it, oh, there it is, Irma Bunt. So he meets Irma, and then she takes him on a helicopter up to the resort. And for this mission, Bond goes there with no weapons. He's completely just defenseless. If things go sideways, chances are he is absolutely screwed. The biggest difference from the movie to the book version of Bond's time here is, in the movie he kind of gets caught out quite quickly. It feels like maybe 2 or 3 days, and he gets caught because he slept with multiple girls. In the book it's very different. He's a lot more stealthy and a lot more sensible. He's only sleeping with one girl named Ruby, so he builds a connection with her. Another big difference is, in the movie version, they have women from all over the world. Like, there's Chinese women, there's, like, I think different sorts of European women, there's black women, which could be American or Caribbean, probably no in Bond at the time, probably like Caribbean or African women. Whereas in the book, it's just all white British women. And we know they're white because Ian Fleming, if a character is not white, he kind of makes it quite clear that they're not white. Depending on which version of the book you have, it's more overtly and more, more old school, I guess we can say, than modern versions. So the actual scale of the operation is way, way higher in the movie. In the movie, he is going to affect the entire world, whereas in the book, he's just going to absolutely cripple and potentially destroy Great Britain or the UK. So, like I say, it's vastly, vastly different scales between the versions. Also, again, we know that they're white in the books because the books are set like 1950, back when Britain was like 99% white. And Bond actually gets caught in the book version because an operative comes up there like he did in the movie, but where in the movie he doesn't say Bond's name multiple times and draw attention to him, in the book he does. He's brought into Blofeld's room in a state of, like, you know, semi-consciousness, so as a result he accidentally blows Bond's cover. Whereas in the movie they have it so Bond blows his own cover by sleeping with women, which I think is kind of silly. I prefer how it happens in the book version. It's a lot more believable because Bond is stated to be the best that the Secret Service has. So it makes sense that he wouldn't blow his own cover by doing something as reckless as just trying to sleep with all the girls at the well, it's not really a resort, is it? He's trying to, like, he's pretending to heal these women. So it's kind of like a health clinic, I guess, slash resort. Like, his time there is kind of the same as it is otherwise. He has, like, you know, food and has meals with the girls and with Irma, and, you know, you get general discussions. You get to see some sort of a little bit of skiing and, you know, sports that the girls are doing for their time there related to their treatments. One difference is one of the guys there tries to rape her, and he is then killed the morning of. Bond is walking up to a man screaming as he gets thrown down like a ski slope, and he just basically dies at some point along the way because at the top of a mountain, and he has no protection or no skis or no I can't remember what they call it. It's kind of like a one-man bobsled of some kind, but there's a name for it. It's a skeleton something is what they call it, but I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, so other than that, it's generally the same. The biggest difference is after Bond gets caught. So in the movie, let me try to remember it now. Bond skis down there. He gets chased by a few people who he manages to evade. Eventually gets to the bottom, bumps into Teresa at a party. They get in the car, drive away. And I think I'm missing a few little bits here and there, because I've only seen on Majesty's Secret Service twice. Once when I did my initial marathon, and I won't lie, it wasn't one of my favourite Bonds. I didn't like it very much at all. I wasn't a big fan of George Lazenby. On a second viewing, after reading this, I do like it a bit more. I appreciate it slightly more. I feel like I was a little bit not so much harsher, I guess you could say harsher on George Lazenby, just due to it was the first time it swapped out from Connery, and it was just weird. So I kind of viewed it, I kind of, like, really, I guess, was harsh on him, comparing him to Connery too much. But then after watching, you know, all of the other Bonds and then coming back to George Lazenby, you find it easier to accept a character or an actor who isn't Connery playing Bond. So I enjoyed his performance more from a second viewing. Whereas in the books version, Bond escapes by I think he does ski in this version as well. Yeah, so he skis with this one as well, but this time he's skiing on his own because he escapes in the middle of the night. And then eventually he is being chased down. Oh, actually, no, sorry, before we carry on with this. One difference as well is Bond almost gets caught when he's at the resort because he steals, like, some sort of piece of metal or something. And then he cleverly plays out, like, oh, I took this from one of the rooms, like, I could use it as a ruler. I hope that's okay. And because he sort of, you know, grasped on himself for a believable way, or for a believable reason why he took it, he's let off the hook. But he was nearly caught out then, and then he realised he needs to really play it safe and not do anything risky like that again. But like I say, that doesn't happen. In the movie, one of the girls says, like, oh yes, we use this to get out of our rooms. In the books, the girls do not get out of their rooms. They gossip and stuff, like, they're not supposed to, but they don't escape their rooms and run around having parties in the evenings and stuff. But yeah, so on Bond's escape, he skis down the mountain. He eventually gets chased by the other skiers after they're shooting flares in the, to light up the mountain. Eventually, an avalanche comes down, nearly killing Bond. But he manages to avoid the avalanche. A guy is chasing him, and Bond, I think he jumps over the train track, and then the guy gets hit by the train and splattered. He gets hit by something anyway and gets splattered. He eventually gets down to the bottom, goes to the party, bumps into Teresa. The biggest difference here is in the book, Bond is like virtually dead on his feet. He is absolutely knackered. He has no energy. He's severely wounded. He feels like he's on the verge of just dropping at any moment. Whereas in the movie, he's like kind of like, oh, well, that was unpleasant. Hello, Teresa. How's it going? He doesn't sell that he's been through this horrendous ordeal at all in the movie, and I've much preferred the book's version. Another slight difference is when Teresa is escaping with Bond. Bond gets out of the car at one point, messes with a road sign, and some of Blofeld's goons drive off a cliff and die. I can't remember how they evade them in the movie, but he doesn't do that. He doesn't kill them by making them drive off a cliff. After this, then, after a few days, Bond... I think this is also then when Bond proposes to Teresa. Does she have another name, by the way? I'm sure he doesn't call her Teresa. Just got to find anything that looks like a T. If we go to the end, I'm sure it'll say. But yeah, so then that happens. Tracy? It is Teresa, isn't it? Have I been saying the wrong name this whole time? Tell you what, let's hope I haven't been saying the wrong name this whole time, innit? Maybe it will say then one of the chapters. Sometimes it says the names of characters, and then you're really lucky. And other times, like right now, it does not. I'll just flick through while we're here, and hopefully I'll see the name. But so yeah, then Bond goes back to M, and so this is then when he says he needs to like sort of go outside the law, and then Bond has a meeting with M and two other people from the service. I can't remember who they are, but they end up having a meeting with M in M's house on Christmas Day, which is different from the movie, because the movie has this discussion at the start when it actually happens in between Bond escaping from Blofeld's like medical facility and when the big climactic battle with Mark Ainge starts, when they go back and re-infiltrate, which I forgot to mention from the movie's version. And then one of the people there realizes that all of the girls that Bond has written down their names and addresses for, that all of them live where there are massive suppliers of food of some kind, whether it's meat or whether it's like live, not livestock, that is meat, or whether it's like I don't know, potatoes or something crucial, for the British diet, stuff that is grown in Britain. And then they agree then that Bond can kind of go outside the law to get this done. So Bond phones up Mark Ainge, says, I've agreed to marry, I've proposed to Teresa, and I would like a wedding gift. And then that's when he organises going back up there to finish off Blofeld. They make their way up there, and again, Blofeld escapes in a bobsled-like apparatus. I can't remember what it's called, and I can't find fucking Teresa's name. Sorry for swearing. I just want to find any name. Well, that says Tracy. Dear Papa. So yeah, it must be Teresa, because it says Tracy there. She thinks Teresa sounds too grand. So yeah, it is Tracy, and then Bond, and everyone calls her Teresa. Thank God for that. Where was I? Well, the big difference, is Teresa gets left behind. Teresa does not actually come, and she's not actually there in the resort. In the movie, she gets kidnapped by Blofeld and held captive sort of thing. In the movie, Bond actually tells her to go to this a hotel that we both really like, and I'll meet you there in a few days, and then we'll get married, get all your papers sorted, and then we'll have a grand old time. So that's one big difference, actually. I forgot about that. So yeah, her involvement in the climax is very, very different. And then when Bond goes there, then he notices a guy running away. Will they say what it is? Because knowing what it's called would be very good. Well, this is a part here. This might actually say what it's called, you know. Flattened the bone shatter. Come on, say the doodad's name. Not going to say it. Whatever. So Bond sees someone flying away. I'll just say on a bobsled. And then he, figures out that it has to be Blofeld. So he chases after him. He gets on one more of the one-man bobsleds and shoots down the mountain after Blofeld. The biggest difference this time around is Blofeld does not get his neck caught on a tree and then Bond wins. Bond actually has Blofeld throw a grenade at him and it nearly kills him again. He gets hit by the grenade, or close enough to the impact of the grenade that Bond is then just taken out of commission. There's obviously the whole chase leading up to it, of course, where Bond's chasing after him, shooting at him. I think he clips his thing a few times. And then, he manages to catch up to him, but then Blofeld throws a grenade, or maybe two grenades, and then Bond is eventually taken out of action. Wakes up, eventually goes to the hotel that he told Teresa he would go to. They end up getting married. You have your nice scene. They driving along. One difference with this part is the implement of "we have all the time in the world." So the difference is, in this one, there's a car coming up behind them and sort of beeping at him. Bond's like, "Oh, let them go before us, Tracy. We have all the time in the world." And as they're driving past, the window shatters, the car crashes. Bond is semi-conscious. And he looks over at Tracy, and a policeman is there, "Oh, is everything okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, she's okay. She's just sleeping. We have all the time in the world." And then I believe it goes to black then. Let's have a look. Let's go to the very end. The young patrolman took a last scared look at the motionless couple, and then it goes out. Yeah, so Bond is knocked out. He's obviously unconscious because of the crash. Tracy's dead, but he's not conscious enough to realize it. And then he says, the heartbreaking, "we have all the time in the world," and sort of passes out. Which again, I think is way better than the movie's version of Bond, where he is sort of in disbelief. He can't quite process that she's dead, and he just says, "Oh no, it's okay. She's just sleeping. We have all the time in the world." And then he's smoothing her. It's still a really good scene, and it's done quite well in the movie. But compared to the book version, the book one just makes so much more sense. Because Bond, I feel, due to his profession and his duration in that profession and his experience, his emotions are far more in check than the regular person. So I don't think that would hit him so hard that he would be in denial that she's dead. So it doesn't really fit with the character that he would be like, "Oh yeah, she's okay. She's okay. She's not actually dead. She's fine. We have all the time in the world to spend together." Him being just half out of it and barely fading back into consciousness before just completely fading back out of it makes a lot more sense why he says we have all the time in the world and that she's just sleeping. As I say, so I think the book version did it better. The movie one is good, but the book one is just undeniably superior in my opinion. And then ultimately, I really, really enjoyed reading On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think it is a better experience than the movies one, just due to, I guess it feels a bit more consistent with the character. Bond makes less silly, animalistic decisions while he's at the resort. Come on, say its name. Fine, it's been childish with me there. Oh, whatever, fine. And also, like I say, the sort of ending, Bond's escape, and then the climax with chasing after Blofeld, I think is a lot more dramatic in the book version, and just you just get more time. The scenes sort of just have better pacing generally in the book versions. So as a result, I gave this a. I'm torn between. So it's got an 8.5. It might be a 9. It's I'm somewhere in between at the moment, but it's between an 8.5 and a 9. So I'm just gonna say 8.5 for now. Really, really good book. I'd highly recommend it. Let me know what you think of On Her Majesty's Secret Service and where you would rank it compared to the other Bond books. So I will be coming back to do You Only Live Twice, obviously after this one, but I won't be doing reading over Christmas now because I'll be visiting family with my fiance, so I just won't have the book with me, and I'll be coming back then starting on You Only Live Twice in January, and hopefully then I'll be finished with all three of the Bond books probably by the end of February, depending on just how much I enjoy them and how many chapters I read a day, basically. But yeah, I hope you will be looking forward and you'll join me, I guess, for that video. Take care. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.